All right, let's roll right into aviation weather services. This one is going to be a doozy. All right, so in aviation weather services, really you need to know where to find the communications, how to reach it, how to read a weather map, and knowing when it's updated.
Listen here, Maura Hewison. I remember back in the summer of '78, flying a load of mail over the Appalachians in a beat-up Piper. The sky was blue as a marble when I took off, but I was young and arrogant enough to skip a thorough weather briefing. 30 minutes in, the air turned sour. A wall of cumulonimbus clouds climbed out of nowhere like a bad dream. I did not have the tools to see what was coming or the sense to get an update. I spent 40 minutes white-knuckling it through turbulence that felt like a giant shaking a matchbox, praying the wings would stay attached. I eventually found a tiny grass strip to set down on, shaking like a leaf. That day taught me that weather is a volatile beast that does not care about your schedule. This unit is going to give you the tools I did not use that day. We are going to learn how to gather briefings and interpret updates so you can make a sound go or no-go decision before you even pre-flight. By the time we are done, you will be one step ahead of the weather instead of fighting for your life inside of it.
You never want to do that. And between every flight you're ever going to do, there's always going to be the go and the no-go decision that you, as the pilot in command, are going to have to make. All right, and let's see. Scrolling right down to Unit 13, Airport Operations. And this can look pretty different at any different airport. Some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger. Some of the things that we're going to be looking for is runways, taxiways, the lighting, the airport traffic patterns, super important, wake turbulence, you're going to want to know what that is, and radio communications, how to talk to the other airmen around you, how to talk to tower, all of that is super, super important. And it's fun to learn about. Practice before you get on anytime, and don't ever
Welcome
be afraid to say you're a student.
Maura Hewison. The morning mist is lifting over a busy tarmac, revealing an airport that functions as a critical hub for dozens of aircraft preparing for departure. As you sit in the cockpit, you realize it is your mandatory duty to interface safely with the complex systems and personnel around you. We are going to explore the runway markings, lights, and signs that act as your guide through this maze. You will practice communicating with the tower and coordinating with other pilots to maintain a safe and efficient flow. We will also look at how ground services work behind the scenes to support your flight. By the time the sun is high, you will have the knowledge to operate in any dynamic airport environment with total precision. Let us start the engine.
All right, so yes, the airport operations, there's so many things to learn. Every airport is different. Just learning, there's so much to take in for it, as you can see with how I'm scrolling through here. And let's go to Unit 14, which is going to cover airspace. And this one is also quite comprehensive as well. Lots of things that you have to learn before you can start doing any flight planning. You need to know where you can and can't go. There's controlled and uncontrolled airspace. There's restricted. There's military.
Hello, Maura
and alert
Hewison.
areas.
I remember back in the early 80s, I was flying a beat-up Cessna 172 out of a grass strip in the middle of nowhere. I had this student who thought the sky was just one big open field with no fences. We were putting along, enjoying the view, when I realized he was steering us straight toward the wedding cake layers of the local Class Bravo airspace. He had no idea he was about to bust a major terminal area without a radio call or a clearance. I let him get just close enough to see the big jets climbing out like silver whales before I tapped the altimeter and pointed at the sectional chart on his lap. His face went pale when he realized that invisible line in the sky was the difference between a smooth flight and a very long talk with the FAA. The sky might look like empty blue space, but it is carved up more precisely than a Thanksgiving turkey. If you do not know exactly where those lines are and what the rules are for crossing them, you are just asking for a headache. Every inch of that chart tells a story about who is allowed to be where. Let us make sure you know how to read it before we end up as a footnote in someone else's radar log.
We never want to be that, and we want to make sure that we know which airspace we're in at all times and where we are allowed to go and not go.